welcome back to everybody's favorite segment of the show. We're going to be doing something we very rarely ever do, but we're going to do it anyway, despite Wago's protests and everything. Finisher versus finisher. Now, this is essentially a segment where we break down a couple people that are familiar with a certain signature move, and they've made it their own, and we discuss who is the best at doing it, who has the best exhibition of the move, who is more familiar with it than anybody else. You know, if you hear this move, this is the person you think of executing it, etc., etc. So, because of Roman Reigns and his big spot in the company right now, instead of just doing another thing of like a belt or bury or something like that, I had given you guys another option to do this one. You guys picked it, so we're going to give it to you. Who has the best spear in professional wrestling history? And there's multiple different people we could talk about, but, you know, almost everybody's done spears at some point. I would have pretty much ran this down to these couple of people, and if you guys have any other suggestions, you know, feel free to leave them in the comments, or the people on the panel, if you want to bring anybody up, of course, bring them up. In my mind, the people were Roman Reigns, of course, Batista, Edge, Goldberg, Christian, Rhyno, Big Show, and Kaitlyn. Because we can't ignore that Kaitlyn did a spear for her finisher either. Let's just go person to person here, then we'll round up back to who ends up being the best and all that kind of stuff. Why don't we just start off with the oddball here, Kaitlyn. What do you guys think of Kaitlyn's spear?
Wasn't bad. You know, as far as a diva goes, she put her all into it. Of all the divas to do it, I think she's a good choice. She had some man arms and some man shoulders, so it made it look brutal, especially because she did it on AJ Lee, who was so small, and AJ sold it so well. That's what really made it look that much vicious, is when she was doing it.
The only couple people I could see doing a spear in the women's division ever, at least China, her, and maybe Beth Phoenix. Because Beth Phoenix did have some meaty arms.
Beth wasn't too quick, though.
Yeah, that's the only reason why. Well, Kaitlyn wasn't too quick either.
She was a little bit faster.
Not really.
Now, I went back and I watched, you know, these YouTube compilation things that people do where it's, you know, the top 10 best spears of whatever, or what, you know.
Jeez, I wonder how many Big Show spear compilations are out there.
Oh, there's so many. But with Kaitlyn's, one thing that I noticed is that she speared Natalya more than like almost anybody else, you could see. But she kind of like, she doesn't go full force into it. She sort of twists to the side, and that makes it look a lot weaker. Maybe that's because the women didn't want to get hurt. You know, they tend to not work as stiff as a lot of the men do. Or maybe she just sort of did that. You know, certain people jump a certain way or whatever. But that really hurts it for me. If you look like you're sort of tackling somebody, but then you fall next to them instead of on top of them, well, it doesn't seem like it hurts as much. So I would say credit to her for making it look better than a lot of moves do in the Divas division, but still not really that great. What do you think, Wago?
I hate this segment.
So is this going to be another... oh, I forgot about my microphone's muted.
This is him protesting still.
I guess so.
No, sorry, my fucking wire is broken, and I had to plug it back in, and I've missed like the last 3 minutes searching for another wire. Are we still talking about Kaitlyn?
Yeah. What do you think about Kaitlyn?
She's got man arms.
What do you think about her spear, though?
Oh, her spear's pretty good, though. I always liked it. Honestly, other than Beth Phoenix, I'm not sure what other diva could pull it off. So, good choice, and I actually enjoyed her for what little time we had her.
You pretty much just said exactly what me and Drew said.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Even the man arms thing. The man arms and that Beth Phoenix is probably the only other diva that could do it. You just surmised me and Drew's words.
What do you guys think of
me to begin with?
What do you guys think of Rhynos? A lot of people love the Gore. I think it's okay, but I don't think it's as great as everybody else does.
It's only good because it's called the Gore.
It's only good because
it was only good because of how it was sold. There's only one Gore I really liked, and that was the one. Was it Jericho or Triple H that they put through the SmackDown set when they got right before they got the new set?
I think it was Jericho.
I think it was Jericho too. That was awesome.
I think it was during the Alliance feud. and
That's
yeah,
right.
he was representing Stephanie.
Yeah, a lot of people like the different Gore things that he's done because he goes through the table, which those look cool. And he's got the bulk to him, I could see that really hurting and stuff, but he's a little bit slower, and it's a little bit sloppy, and
Because of his height, it kind of just looks like he runs into them.
yeah, like it's like a pounce a little bit sometimes.
I like it just because of his body size. It's different, so I've got no issue with it. I find him a guy that can legitimately do that, and me buying into it, unlike fucking Christian.
Oh, we'll get to him next. Drew, what do you think about the Gore?
It's okay. I don't have much to say about Rhyno. I wasn't really around during the time that he was, and I
Yeah,
wasn't
Drew's
watching it.
kind of like, hey, did you see that old guy that NXT brought in?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I haven't got to
Brian
see that
Kendrick.
yeah. The Brian Kendrick, by the way, it's the Brian Kendrick. But no,
Brian Kendrick's awesome. Fuck you.
it's like this. Rhyno, it was average. It wasn't too amazing. I think the thing that really sold it was because it was called the Gore instead of just a spear. I thought, at least that's what I thought that was the coolest thing about it. So, it's the middle of the road average for me.
Drew returning the favor.
Now, you brought up Christian, so let's just throw Edge and Christian in together. Christian
Just
really... What's
I
that?
just want to mention my thing about Christian about how it's only looks painful because of his sunburnt body when he hits him.
Yeah, because that's a huge factor. Christian only really started using this after Edge had retired because it was just like, well, I'll take something else from him, like the championship and everything else. Edge is so much better. The fact that he's got that taunt ahead of time, that he's really animated, he looks like he's just hungry as fuck to spear the person. Christian's just sort of like, you ready for the spear? All right, here we go.
I've always thought he looks like he's melting in the corner because he's rubbing his hand all over his face, he's sweating, and he looks like shit.
It's just like, the suntan.
It just looks like he's dissolving in the corner before he finally launches out.
Neither of these guys are, the biggest guy, so a lot of people will say that their spear sucks in comparison to somebody like a Batista or whatever because they're just not big enough for it, but Edge's looks like, if he spears somebody who's of relatively the same size or smaller than him, it looks like it could hurt.
When he won the WWE Championship off of Cena, when he cashed in the Money in the Bank briefcase, the two spears he gave him were fucking vicious. I think with Edge, what helped him was it depends on who was taking it, because it only looked as vicious as the person who sold it was taking it.
Yeah.
Because like I said, like a Rey Mysterio.
Rey Mysterio.
I'm not even gonna try to finish that shit. Never mind.
Is that how Vince is gonna get back at him? He's gonna fucking stick some guy in a mask and call him Rey Mysterio.
I think
Remade Sin Cara, I'll remake Rey.
What about Rey Mysterio?
Rey Mysterio taking any spear was good, but I recall when he took an Edge spear, it looked vicious.
Would have been better if he took one off Rey Mysterio.
Oh man. Yeah,
this is the point in the videos where people go, fucking idiot.
This is the point where people are cracking up and thinking of what pictures of Rey Mysterio that they can make. Please, if there's a picture of Mysterio doing a spear, send that to us. And just some wacky Photoshop stuff. Yeah, it depends on his opponent. I mean, if you see Edge spear the Great Khali, it's terrible. But if he spears Dolph Ziggler, it looks like it hurts.
But at the same time, anyone trying to do a finishing move on the Great Khali looks fucking terrible. So
somebody just pushing him down and watching him slowly lay down is really terrible.
The worst sets of spears that Edge has ever done was at the Money in the Bank ladder match. Fucking enjoying some chips there.
Forgot to be my bad.
Yeah, I noticed. The worst spears he ever did was in a Money in the Bank match. They was doing this spot where everyone was hitting their finisher on everyone, and they weren't even spears. There was just sort of I hugged your waist, I hugged your waist, I hugged your waist.
Here's a hug, buddy. I know you need it. This match is tough.
Yeah, Edge isn't a guy that should never have used the spear. I think it's always looked awful with him. He got it over, though, and that's a lot to do with his mannerisms and his character, so fair play to him for getting a move over, which really shouldn't be.
Very much so, and that's why he completely is surpassing Christian on here because Christian has the same body frame and everything, and none of the mannerisms.
Well,
With Christian, it's kind of like, oh, he thinks he's talented.
no, as a spear, at least he does like the mannerisms and stuff, but he shot out of the corner. Like he was fucking fast to get to do the spear, and I think that's what helped it. Like that's like he did the spear as best as someone his size could do it.
Peyton, do you think that Christian spear is worth a damn?
Fuck no.
Didn't think so. What about Edge's?
Something he didn't tribute. I mean, it's the equivalent of like Chavo doing the frog splash.
What about Chavo doing like the Three Amigos during the Royal Rumble, but he can't hit the third one?
Or Chavo being the spirit of Eddie Guerrero?
Or Chavo not being the spirit of Eddie Guerrero?
Christian's was awful. Nothing more to say about that. Edge, I never liked him doing the spear either. I always liked the execution as a finisher for him better, or finding something else for him. It was a move that people liked with him, though. I mean, I guess I'm in a minority with that. But I especially hated that period of his career when he was just like, spear, 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 spear.
Oh, Michael Cole. Oh, it's just...
feud with Jericho, right?
Spear! 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 Oh, my God, look at that spear.
Wasn't it the feud with Jericho where he was doing that?
Yeah, he was...
It was a WrestleMania feud.
Yeah, spear, 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 spear.
Jericho's just like, I'm going to be boring on the microphone while you say that.
I'm going to act like a man with very few words to say.
I better enjoy this title reign because it's probably the last one I'm ever going to have.
I'm going to put you over before your neck fucking breaks and you die.
Jesus, Drew?
Anyone, if we go get that, that's a Miguel Leon reference.
Oh, I thought it was reference to the fact that he had to retire before he paralyzed.
And that too, so...
So you're a horrible person. Okay, good.
Knocking two birds out with one stone.
Anybody have anything to say about Big Show's? That's really odd. I mean, the guy's huge, but...
It's overhated.
Like Big Show's.
Yeah, I think it's overhated. I think it's very powerful looking with him.
One
Especially when he
likes
really gets his speed up. Like if he bounces into the ropes and gets a good amount of momentum, it looks pretty vicious.
It depends on
when he
who
does it
he's...
to Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan makes that thing look vicious as fuck.
I remember a spear he gave Cody Rhodes at what was it?
He wrestled at Mania.
At Mania, yeah. I think that spear looked fucking vicious, mainly because it was Cody Rhodes trying to go for the disaster kick or something, and he catches him with the spear. It just looks so fucking vicious in midair. So
vicious.
Yeah, I actually like Big Show's babyface comeback. He always used to use the spear in that. I actually like Show as a babyface as a wrestler, so yeah, the spear's always been a good move for him. I think it's overhated.
Poor Big Show with finishers, though. Like, he's got the spear that he was doing for... That's not his finisher necessarily, but, like, you know, other people are clearly taking control of that a lot more. He's got the choke slam, which is more so Undertaker and Kane's game. Like, and then he just gets to the point where he's just like, I'll just punch. Like, that's good enough. I'll give him the international. That's it.
Fun fact, he actually used the F5 for a period on SmackDown after Brock left.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't watching then.
It was awkward. It was the most awkward No, it didn't. You know how Brock makes him spin out? Shows it just looked weird because of how big he was.
What would be a good finisher from a Big Show? Like
chokeslam.
Something other than what he's been using and stuff. Something that he could kind of call his own.
Oh, what about a lariat?
Yeah, a clothesline from hell.
Honestly, if he ever did a moonsault off the top rope, then I would have seen it all. Come on, if Vader was able to do it. It's Big Show.
And Vader Bomb could have been a good move. I mean, he does that.
The Swagger Bomb, for example.
Yeah.
He could have done that. A Power Bomb. If he was able to do a Power Bomb.
A Swanton Bomb. Like
shooting star press.
Imagine that fucker like Swanton bombing you. It'd be scary as shit.
You know that,
and he might break the ring.
Yeah, I was about to say Lesnar and him broke the ring, so yeah. No, he'd fall through it if anything.
Deliberate.
Yeah, no, he'd fall through the ring, no, like literally, like whenever Cam would chokeslam someone to hell, yeah, that would be him, and then Cam would have to randomly come out.
Okay.
So we got the three biggest guys, I guess you could say, that are still left to
the
talk
big
about.
guy.
Roman Reigns, Batista, and Goldberg. Out of all these, I think Goldberg's got the best, but I am
Definitely.
actually really fond of Roman Reigns when it comes to the spear. I think that he's got a good amount of speed to it. He's got the right size for it. He has the little bit of theatrics ahead of time with the whole punch in the ground and the ooh and all that. Batista's is, perfectly fine. He was doing that in a time where it fit him, and my only real gripe when it comes to Batista is that he goes a little bit too high sometimes, and it sort of looks like he's like giving him like a shoulder bump every once in a while. But Goldberg is, he fucking kills people with that.
There's a good way to distinguish who's got the better spear between Batista and Roman Reigns. The Royal Rumble that they both were in. Batista and Roman Reigns had a spear in that match. Batista's looked fucking awful. Like, the difference in the amount of skill, elevation, and power, Roman Reigns was clearly better.
I like it when Roman Reigns, like, he goes through the people, like, in a real, like, a horizontal trajectory. Like, he doesn't kind of, like, keep himself upright, which a lot of people do. Batista does that. That's why he kind of comes off as, like, a shoulder block a little bit. But Roman Reigns, like, spears through them, and he just tucks his head enough where he doesn't land on his own head and gives himself a DDT.
He doesn't just do a Superman punch. He also kind of, like, flies like Superman when he does that.
It's not just a normal punch. A lot of people would just do a normal punch, but he's got to make sure he jumps up in the air and puts his arms back, the other arm to the side. Like, he gets the idea of, like, you got to position yourself a little bit better and not just be, I'm a big guy, I'm tackling you in a way. And
The big guy.
What I can appreciate about the Superman punch is, like, certain guys are looking at mixed martial arts and going, what can I take? And that was one of them, and I'm really glad someone utilized that. But as far as spears go, definitely he's got the best out of him and Batista. But if we're talking about all three big guys, Goldberg easily, because that guy didn't give a fuck if he hurt you or not. He just wanted to make it look real as fuck. Everyone that's talked about Goldberg said he was very difficult to work with, and he was very much into realism.
I don't blame him.
And he hurt a lot of guys with the spear because of that.
I don't blame him for that, mainly because when you have like a dominant fucking man like him, it makes fucking sense that if it actually really fucking hurts. His just looks so freaking vicious. Like, hell, even the one he did to Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 20 still was fucking vicious, and he was half-assing that one.
It's like, guys don't really have to bump for Goldberg's spear. He just destroys them.
They just stand there and he wrecks their shit.
Yeah, like, if you tried to bump it, you'd probably kill yourself. Like, with Roman Reigns, it's like, oh, look at that spear. And when fucking Goldberg spears someone, it's like, fuck this shit, I'm a tree, and they just fold.
I love how they snap back when Goldberg does the spear. Like, they kind of go forward and then backward.
Snapping because he's just going through them.
Basically. I mean, that looks like that hurts far worse than any of the other ones. And despite somebody like a Big Show being technically bigger than Goldberg, Goldberg's got, like, the second biggest size out of everybody out here. Is he, or is Batista bigger?
Batista got really small on his comeback, so it depends what Batista you're talking about. And
And
they've wrestled together, and they didn't look too, like, different.
I kind of think that Goldberg might be, like, taller or something. Maybe. I don't know. Either way, Goldberg's one of the biggest guys, and he's got the same speed as anybody who is, Edge or Roman Reigns or whatever. He's got the bulk size to him and everything, and he nails this. Definitely my vote for who's got the best spear. Even better than Rey Mysterio. Wigo, you're going to go with Goldberg too? Oh, God, did he lose a wire again? Well, while he's trying to figure that out. Peyton, who are you going to go with here? What are your thoughts on the people that you haven't touched on yet?
Batista's was plain. There was nothing. I don't know why you would even rank him in the top three. I'm
not ranking them.
Mongo McMichael in before him. Between Roman Reigns and Goldberg, though, Goldberg had a pretty sick spear. I can't knock on it. But I think Roman Reigns gets the showmanship of it a lot more, like you're saying. I love the horizontal positioning of him when he's just coming at you flat. It just looks so damn cool. And he hasn't gotten to the point where he's experimented with it too much. I think the most intense thing we saw of him was that one he did on the Big Show where he jumped off the ramp and he just like went into Big Show's chest. But I would say it's pretty dead even. Right now I'm digging Roman Reigns more. That's because it's current. But man, freaking Goldberg just took people out of their boots with that back in the day.
What about you, Drew?
I'm gonna go with the Goldberg Spear as my number uno. Number two would have to be Roman Reigns, and Batista would have to be in the middle because Batista's spear was nothing compared to that of a Rey Mysterio. Christian still has the worst spear ever from the sole purpose of you can't make someone be sunburned from a spear. That's all.
Wago, you up and running?
I was just watching a 30-second Fury video of Goldberg's spear. He hits Brock Lesnar, and I think I actually saw the moment where he gave Brock Lesnar diverticulitis. This fucking thing's vicious as fuck. So yeah, Goldberg gets a number one. I think it's clear-cut winner. I don't think there's a comparison between him and Roman Reigns. If you watch that video, he's so fucking violent about it. The guy just had a sheer size which Reigns doesn't have. Reigns is a big guy, but he's not like one of those monsters. Roman Reigns gets second, which is no shame. Goldberg's spear is just that nasty. As number 3, that gets a bit more difficult because everyone else's spear is just kind of there. Honestly, I'd give it to Big Show before I gave it to anyone else. Maybe Rhyno.
If we were going to actually rank them like 1, 2, and 3 and stuff, I think I'd probably go Goldberg, Reigns, maybe Edge.
See, that spot gets tricky because there's not that much good technique, but there's still showmanship there.
Right. That's tough. Number 3 is tough for that. Fuck it, Kaitlyn.
Give Davis a chance.
So, we're all pretty much going with Goldberg here. I wonder if you guys are as well. Tell us in the comments below. And if you have any other suggestions of who has a better spear or where you want to point out some other things that are odd about that, leave a comment below and everything else like that. We have one more thing to do in this episode, and that's Fantasy League. So stay tuned. Click on the next part, etc., etc. You know the deal. We're coming right back.